Welcome to the Spray Thoughts Salon. Today's theme is chronic diseases and health management. Let's first take a look at the current status of chronic diseases in countries around the world. Chronic diseases, such as cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer, and chronic respiratory diseases, have become a global health concern affecting millions of people. They are now the leading cause of death worldwide, driven by aging populations, urbanization, and changes in lifestyle. The current status of chronic diseases varies across countries, but a common trend is their increasing prevalence, creating a significant burden on healthcare systems and economies. Here's an overview of chronic diseases in different regions. 1. High-income countries. In high-income countries, such as the United States, Europe, Japan, and Australia, chronic diseases are the primary health concern, largely due to aging populations, sedentary lifestyles, unhealthy diets, and smoking. United States. Chronic diseases like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes are responsible for 70% of deaths. Heart disease is the leading cause of death, followed by cancer. Lifestyle factors, such as high obesity rates and poor diet, contribute significantly to these diseases. The CDC reports that 6 in 10 adults have at least one chronic disease, and 4 in 10 have 2 or more. Europe. Cardiovascular diseases and cancer are also major health issues in Europe, particularly in Eastern and Southern Europe. High smoking rates, alcohol consumption, and poor diets contribute to these diseases. Despite robust healthcare systems in Western Europe, an aging population and rising obesity rates are increasing the chronic disease burden. Japan. Japan has one of the longest life expectancies in the world, but an aging population is causing a rise in chronic diseases, particularly cancer and cardiovascular diseases. Japan has relatively low obesity rates due to its traditional diet, but as Western dietary habits become more common, health issues such as diabetes are becoming more prevalent. 2. Middle-income countries. Countries like China, India, Brazil, and Mexico are experiencing rapid economic growth and urbanization, which has led to significant lifestyle changes. As a result, chronic diseases are becoming the leading health concern, replacing infectious diseases. China. In China, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer, and chronic respiratory diseases are the leading causes of death. Urbanization, changes in diet, increased consumption of processed foods and sugary drinks, physical inactivity, and high smoking rates are driving the rise in chronic diseases. Air pollution also contributes to the high rates of respiratory diseases. India. India is experiencing an alarming rise in chronic diseases, particularly diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and respiratory disorders. India has one of the highest diabetes populations globally, driven by a combination of poor diet, lack of physical activity, and genetic predispositions. Additionally, pollution in urban areas exacerbates respiratory conditions, while hypertension is widespread due to unhealthy lifestyle choices. Brazil. Chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and obesity are becoming increasingly common. Rapid urbanization has led to changes in lifestyle, including higher consumption of processed foods and lower levels of physical activity. Poor access to healthcare in some regions also complicates the management and treatment of chronic diseases. 3. Low-income countries. In low-income countries, infectious diseases such as malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS have historically been the main health concerns. However, as these countries begin to urbanize and develop, chronic diseases are on the rise, even as infectious diseases remain a major issue. Sub-Saharan Africa. While infectious diseases still dominate the health landscape in Sub-Saharan Africa, chronic diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, and cancer are increasing, especially in urban areas. Poor healthcare infrastructure makes managing these conditions difficult, leading to high mortality rates from preventable or manageable diseases. Middle East and North Africa, MENA. Countries in the MENA region are witnessing a significant increase in chronic diseases, particularly cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and obesity. Sedentary lifestyles, high-fat diets, and limited physical activity are common risk factors. Some countries, like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, have among the highest rates of obesity and diabetes in the world. 4. Global trends and challenges. Aging populations. As global life expectancy increases, the elderly population is growing, particularly in high-income and some middle-income countries. This demographic shift is leading to a higher prevalence of age-related chronic diseases like Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, and cardiovascular diseases. Lifestyle changes. Poor diets, physical inactivity, and smoking are major contributors to the global rise in chronic diseases. In many countries, The increased availability and consumption of processed and fast foods have led to rising rates of obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. Healthcare burden. Chronic diseases place immense strain on healthcare systems, both in terms of cost and resource allocation. Countries with limited healthcare infrastructure struggle to provide adequate care, resulting in higher mortality and disability rates from preventable or manageable conditions. In summary, chronic diseases are now a leading cause of death and disability globally, affecting countries at all income levels. While high-income countries continue to manage the burden of these diseases, middle and low-income countries are facing a rapid increase in chronic disease rates due to urbanization, lifestyle changes, and aging populations. Effective public health policies, early interventions, lifestyle modifications, and better access to healthcare are crucial to managing and preventing chronic diseases worldwide. Let's take a look at the harm of chronic diseases. Chronic diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, cancer, diabetes, and chronic respiratory conditions have long-term impacts on health and well-being. These diseases not only lead to a deterioration in physical health, but also affect mental, emotional, and economic aspects of life. Here's an in-depth look at the various harms of chronic diseases. 1. Decline in physical health and quality of life. Chronic diseases significantly affect a person's physical health over time. Unlike acute illnesses that have a clear onset and end, chronic conditions last for years, or even a lifetime, progressively worsening if not well managed. Individuals with chronic diseases often experience reduced mobility. Conditions like arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and respiratory issues limit physical activity, making even daily tasks challenging. Chronic pain and discomfort. Many chronic diseases cause persistent pain, such as nerve damage from diabetes or joint pain from arthritis, leading to a decreased quality of life. Organ damage. Chronic diseases like diabetes can lead to complications affecting vital organs such as the heart, kidneys, eyes, and nerves, resulting in further health deterioration. 2. Increased mortality rates. Chronic diseases are the leading cause of death globally. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, chronic diseases account for 71% of all deaths worldwide. Cardiovascular diseases, such as heart disease and stroke, are the most significant contributors, followed by cancer and chronic respiratory diseases. These conditions often progress silently until they become life-threatening, with heart attacks, strokes, and certain cancers being acute complications of underlying chronic issues. 3. Economic burden. Chronic diseases pose a significant economic challenge both to individuals and healthcare systems. The financial burden arises from high medical costs. Managing chronic diseases requires ongoing medical care, medications, regular doctor visits, and sometimes hospitalization or surgery. Long-term treatments, such as insulin for diabetes or chemotherapy for cancer, can be prohibitively expensive. Loss of productivity. People with chronic diseases may find it difficult to maintain regular employment, leading to lost income. Chronic pain, fatigue, and frequent medical appointments can reduce their ability to work. This not only affects individuals, but also lowers overall economic productivity. Impact on families. Family members often bear the burden of caregiving, which can result in reduced income or higher financial strain as they balance work with providing care. 4. Mental and emotional strain. The psychological toll of living with a chronic disease is profound. Patients may experience depression and anxiety. Chronic illnesses often lead to feelings of hopelessness, stress, and fear about the future. Uncertainty about one's health and the burden of managing a long-term condition can contribute to mental health disorders. Social isolation. Due to physical limitations and the emotional strain of managing a disease, many patients withdraw from social activities, further exacerbating feelings of loneliness and depression. Caregiver stress. Family members who take on caregiving responsibilities also face significant emotional and mental strain, which can affect their well-being. 5. Impact on life expectancy. Many chronic diseases shorten life expectancy, especially if not adequately managed. For example, heart disease, uncontrolled hypertension, high cholesterol, and other risk factors can lead to heart attacks or strokes, which are often fatal. Cancer. While some cancers are treatable if caught early, others can be aggressive and lead to early mortality if not detected in time. Diabetes. Complications from poorly controlled diabetes, such as kidney failure, heart disease, or infections, can significantly reduce life expectancy. 6. Development of multiple chronic conditions. Chronic diseases often occur together. For example, People with diabetes are at higher risk of developing cardiovascular diseases, kidney problems, and nerve damage. Similarly, individuals with obesity often suffer from hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and respiratory conditions simultaneously. The presence of multiple chronic conditions complicates treatment and increases the overall burden on healthcare systems. 7. Strain on healthcare systems. Chronic diseases contribute to a growing strain on healthcare resources. Long-term treatment, frequent hospitalizations, and the need for specialized care lead to higher demand for healthcare services. This pressure can overwhelm medical infrastructure, especially in low and middle-income countries where healthcare systems may already be under-resourced. Additionally, the high cost of managing chronic diseases diverts resources from other areas of healthcare, limiting access to preventive care and treatment for acute conditions. 8. Increased risk of disability. Chronic diseases can lead to long-term disabilities, limiting a person's ability to function independently. Conditions like stroke, diabetes-related amputations, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, can significantly impair a person's mobility, cognitive functions, or ability to engage in daily activities requiring lifelong assistance. 9. Impact on global development. Chronic diseases are not only a health issue, but also a development challenge. The rising incidence of chronic diseases, especially in developing countries, undermines economic growth by reducing labor productivity, increasing healthcare costs, and shifting resources away from other essential areas like education and infrastructure. The global rise in chronic disease prevalence threatens to impede progress toward achieving Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly those related to health and well-being. In summary, chronic diseases present a wide array of harmful effects, from declining physical health and life expectancy to increased mental strain and economic hardship. They affect not only individuals but also families, healthcare systems, and economies. Prevention through healthy lifestyle choices, early detection, and effective management are key to reducing the harm caused by chronic diseases and mitigating their impact on society. Let's talk more about healthy eating methods to prevent chronic diseases. A healthy diet plays a crucial role in preventing chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and obesity. Adopting balanced and nutritious eating habits can reduce risk factors associated with these conditions and improve overall well-being. Below are key principles of healthy eating that can help prevent chronic diseases. 1. Eat a variety of nutrient-dense foods. The cornerstone of a healthy diet is consuming a wide variety of nutrient-rich foods that provide essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. A diverse diet ensures that your body gets all the nutrients it needs for optimal functioning and disease prevention. The core elements of a nutrient-dense diet include fruits and vegetables, rich in vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants. Fruits and vegetables are critical for reducing inflammation and protecting against diseases like cancer and heart disease. Aim for at least 5 servings per day, incorporating a variety of colors to ensure a wide range of nutrients. Whole grains. Whole grains such as brown rice, oats, quinoa, and whole wheat are excellent sources of fiber, which helps control blood sugar levels and lower cholesterol. Whole grains also provide important nutrients like magnesium, iron, and B vitamins. Lean proteins. Include lean sources of protein like fish, chicken, turkey, beans, legumes, and tofu. Fish, especially fatty varieties like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, contain omega-3 fatty acids, which are beneficial for heart health. 2. Limit processed foods and refined sugars. Highly processed foods, often loaded with refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and sodium, contribute to the development of chronic diseases such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension. These foods provide little nutritional value and can promote inflammation and weight gain. Common examples include sugary snacks and beverages. Regular consumption of soda, candy, pastries, and sugary cereals can lead to insulin resistance, obesity, and an increased risk of diabetes. Opt for natural sweeteners like fruits when you crave something sweet. Refined grains. Foods made from white flour, such as white bread, pasta, and pastries, lack fiber and essential nutrients. Replace these with whole grain alternatives to improve digestion and maintain stable blood sugar levels. Processed meats. Processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli meats are high in sodium, unhealthy fats, and preservatives, which are linked to a higher risk of cardiovascular disease and certain cancers. 3. Control portion sizes and caloric intake. Maintaining a healthy weight is crucial for preventing chronic diseases. Overeating and consuming more calories than the body needs can lead to weight gain, obesity, and associated health risks like diabetes and heart disease. To control caloric intake. Portion control. Be mindful of portion sizes, especially when consuming high-calorie foods. Use smaller plates, measure servings, and avoid eating directly from large packages to prevent overeating. Calorie-dense foods. Limit consumption of calorie-dense foods such as fried items, fast food, and high-fat snacks. These can quickly add up in terms of calories without providing substantial nutritional benefits. 4. Incorporate healthy fats. Not all fats are harmful. In fact, healthy fats are essential for heart health, brain function, and reducing inflammation. Include sources of unsaturated fats like olive oil. Rich in monounsaturated fats, olive oil can lower bad cholesterol, LDL, and reduce the risk of heart disease. Nuts and seeds. Almonds, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds provide omega-3 fatty acids and fiber, both of which support heart health and weight management. Avocados. High in healthy fats and fiber, avocados help improve cholesterol levels and provide essential vitamins like vitamin E. 5. Reduce sodium and increase potassium intake. Excess sodium in the diet is a major contributor to high blood pressure, a leading risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Limit your sodium intake by avoiding heavily salted foods like processed snacks, canned goods, and fast food. Instead, increase your potassium intake, which can help balance the effects of sodium and support heart health. Potassium-rich foods include bananas, sweet potatoes, spinach, and beans. 6. Stay hydrated. Proper hydration is essential for maintaining overall health. Water aids in digestion, regulates body temperature, and supports the function of vital organs. Opt for water as your primary beverage and limit sugary drinks, which contribute to weight gain and metabolic issues. In summary, adopting a healthy diet is one of the most effective ways to prevent chronic diseases. By incorporating a variety of nutrient-dense foods, controlling portion sizes, and minimizing the intake of processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats, you can significantly reduce your risk of developing conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Combining a healthy diet with regular physical activity can further enhance your health and well-being. Now we'll look at exercise aimed at preventing chronic diseases. Regular physical activity is one of the most effective ways to prevent chronic diseases, such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and obesity. Engaging in consistent exercise helps maintain a healthy weight, improves cardiovascular health, and boosts overall physical and mental well-being. Here are key exercise methods that can help prevent chronic diseases. 1. Aerobic exercise, cardio. Aerobic exercises, also known as cardiovascular or endurance exercises, are essential for improving heart and lung function. These activities increase heart rate and breathing, promoting cardiovascular health and reducing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure. Recommended activities. Walking, jogging, swimming, cycling, dancing, and hiking are all excellent forms of aerobic exercise. Frequency and duration. The American Heart Association recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise. This can be broken down into sessions of 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Benefits. Regular aerobic exercise helps lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol levels, and improve circulation. It also helps control blood sugar levels, reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes. Additionally, aerobic exercise promotes weight management, a key factor in preventing obesity and related chronic diseases. 2. Strength training, resistance exercise. Strength training, or resistance exercise, involves using muscles to lift or push weights or perform bodyweight exercises. This type of exercise is crucial for maintaining muscle mass, improving bone density, and enhancing metabolism. Recommended activities. Weightlifting, bodyweight exercises, such as squats, push-ups, and lunges. Resistance band exercises, and using machines at the gym. Frequency. Strength training should be done at least 2 times a week, targeting all major muscle groups: legs, hips, back, abdomen, chest, shoulders, and arms. Benefits. Strength training helps improve muscle strength and endurance, which supports joint function and reduces the risk of injury. It also enhances bone health, lowering the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. Additionally, increased muscle mass improves metabolism, helping to manage weight and prevent obesity-related conditions such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease. 3. Flexibility and balance exercises. Flexibility and balance exercises are important for maintaining mobility, reducing the risk of falls, and improving coordination. As people age, maintaining flexibility and balance becomes increasingly important to prevent injuries and maintain independence. Recommended activities: yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, and simple stretching exercises. Frequency. Flexibility exercises can be performed daily, and balance exercises should be done at least 3 times a week, especially for older adults. Benefits. These exercises enhance joint flexibility, muscle elasticity, and overall range of motion. This helps prevent joint and muscle stiffness, which can lead to injuries or pain. Balance exercises reduce the risk of falls, especially in older adults, and contribute to better posture and coordination. Stretching also promotes relaxation, which can reduce stress levels, a risk factor for heart disease and other chronic conditions. 4. High-intensity interval training, HIIT. HIIT involves short bursts of intense activity, followed by periods of rest or low-intensity exercise. This method is effective for improving cardiovascular health and burning calories in a shorter amount of time. Recommended activities: sprinting, jumping rope, cycling, or any aerobic exercise performed at maximum effort for 20-30 seconds, followed by a 1 to 2 minute rest period. Frequency: HIIT can be performed 2-3 times a week. Since it is intense, it is important to allow adequate recovery time between sessions. Benefits: HIIT improves cardiovascular fitness, enhances fat burning, and increases metabolism. It is particularly effective for managing weight and preventing obesity, which in turn reduces the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic conditions. It also helps improve insulin sensitivity, making it a great tool for preventing and managing type 2 diabetes. 5. Active daily living. Incorporating physical activity into daily routines is a simple yet effective way to stay active and prevent chronic diseases. This can be done by making small adjustments to everyday activities. Examples: taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking or cycling to work, standing instead of sitting during meetings, or doing housework like gardening or cleaning. Benefits. Even small amounts of physical activity throughout the day can improve overall fitness, help manage weight, and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. In summary, incorporating a variety of exercise methods, such as aerobic activities, strength training, flexibility exercises, and HIIT into your routine can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases. By maintaining a regular exercise routine, you can improve cardiovascular health, manage weight, and enhance both physical and mental well-being. Staying active is key to living a longer, healthier life. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you have any comments or suggestions, please send us an email. See you next time.